Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the IRL exhibition series. We are here for round 2 around Albert Park in down south around Australia. We are here racing the 2006 Renaults, which of course led Fernando Alonso to his second World Championship. We've got a 15 car grid here today and we're waiting for the drivers to come out and track as they just pick... Oh, I'm being messaged by Kevin. What's going on here? What does Kevin want? Oh, yep. Seems Kevin wants to do commentary with us, so I'm just going to add him to the party. Let's go aspect. So I just adding Kevin to the party. He's a bit of a late joiner. But who's coming out first to track? Let me just enable the track map and telemetry. Let's go. Yeah, because of course you only have one compound of tyres in these on these 2006 cars for the classic cars. But I imagine we should be seeing the one-stop strategy. Maybe a bit of rain in the race, hopefully. But Kevin will join us in a few minutes once his download is done. So I'm going to go. Who's the first person out on track? Is it Matthew? Yes, the first car out on track is Matthew. As of course you can see, beautiful V12 engines in the back of these cars. No, what V12? V10, sorry. Matthew, of course, will be one of the favourites for this race, of course, but he's lagging a bit over the place, having a little bit of a lock-up. But it's quite difficult to get these cars done right under the braking and the traction. These cars have traction control as well, of course. So let's go for a flying lap on board with Matthew Alder around the Albert Park. So this starts his lap now. No IRL, of course, in these cars. It's all naturally aspirated. Lock it. Oh, bit of lag there. Oh, I can't watch Matthew. He's lagging so much. I have no idea why he's lagging as badly. Seeing Matthew go down to turn 3, picks his brake nice and easily, clips the apex. And let me go on board with someone else, see if it's just Matthew or what the issue is. Let me see. Where is it? Is that better? Yeah, it must just be Matthew lagging then. Let's go on board with a Blaze since Matthew is lagging over the place so much. Maybe he's got some decent errors going on there with him. But of course he is the second car to be setting a lap. Going through the first sector split there, you see a Delta. Nicely, you want to stick nice and tight to the grass going around the corner here. Into the braking zone of course, which of course in 2021 has been cut out. The chicane no longer exists. As you will continue to go through a flat out chicane as you head towards the new fast left-right sequence, which I don't think has been altered for this year, but I'm not sure what's happening in this game. You can see Riceman join, nicely clips the apex, it does a Blaze, nice and easy, doesn't want to lose a rear end. Carrying on nice and easy towards the heavy braking zone. 100 metres, you want to pick your braking zone, turns in a bit early, clips the apex nice and easily, halfway over that curb, making sure you use all the track into the inside. Using a bit of curb on the outside as well, you see a car about to start their lap just ahead of him. A Blaze just about clipping the apex nice and early. You don't want to turn in too early as you can lose a lot of time for here. Puts the power down and heads towards the line. A Blaze is about to set a 1 minute... Oh, there's no lap times. Why is there no lap time coming up then? I think a bit of a glitch in my timing. Can I see anything? Why is no one setting any laps then? Huh. That's a weird one. Oh, there we go. Maybe it was invalidated since here. But Emanator sets the first fastest lap of 1 minute 27.2. The issue with these classic cars, however, is that you can't see who's where and where they're coming from, so it's difficult to tell who's trying to finish a lap. Well, Toxic Tomatoes only is invalidated. Who else we got? Cam Rules invalidated. Grayson and... No, Grayson hasn't. Let's watch the rest of his lap. Oh, Texan wall is he, and he's out. So that's his race over. Before qualifying before he even started, he wasn't able to get a lap in, so that's a big shame for him. So he'll be starting from the back. I'm guessing he just lost it under the throttle and he's ended up putting it in the wall. So rookie error there from Ross Denholm, and that'll be some mistakes that he'll be learning from the race not to repeat again, because otherwise that would be very embarrassing. Who else? What's Iron Neon doing? He's heading towards the no longer missing chicane. Let me just get a little track map up so I can actually call out some corner names. Jared is being very leisurely going for that corner there. Up towards brake zone of turn 13. Of course, Jared is a pad user, not a user of a pad, I was going to say. And you're going to see there's a very different input between the wheel and the pad input. But I don't know why he's using the full track, maybe just having a slow in lap or something. And he's just broken on the grass like me, he can lose a lot of time. Oh, we'll see Jared finish his lap. He was sitting 1 minute 27.9, so he goes 5th fastest. Not his best lap time, I'm sure he's got a lot of time to find. Who else is available? Camerals. Yeah, you can go on board with him for the last sector. That car just looks so good. Oh, what's going on here? Who was that in his way? That was a bit of a close one. There's a little bit of an oversteering moment going out the second last corner. Doesn't seem to be very comfortable with the car just yet, Cameron. Doesn't seem to be very consistent, Camerals. And he crosses the line, goes 7th fastest at 1 minute 29.8. I'm just trying to find... Who else can we find? Who else can we find? What's Toxic Tomato doing? Cameron Young, he's also invalidated again. Paco Suarez is starting a lap. Let's go on board with this man from Gran Canaria, of course. Let's have a look at Paco 6, but he's 1.5 seconds up, setting a purple middle sector. Nice and easily going through the middle sector. This sets the purple sector. As I just mentioned, I don't mind doing myself. I am waffling so much at the minute. Down into turn 13, brakes nice and easily. He loses all the inside curve there. He's got a little bit of traffic in front of him, so hopefully it doesn't hold him up too much. But Paco is on a flyer at the minute. Misses the apex slightly. You can see there's a lot of rotation going on through the second last corner, as you see aspects from the party. So I think the game's finally done. And heading across the line, Paco Suarez will improve by 1.9 seconds and goes 2nd fastest. Oh, there goes my controller. But still 2 seconds behind Brandon Glover. Surely there's a lot more to be done there for Paco Suarez.
Okay, I can just get in to see all the times. Obviously not everyone finishing, well, most people actually kind of on a lap. Tom Jewell and Cameron Young actually on the same part of the track. On their laps, maybe invalidated? Okay.
Yeah, everyone just seems to be in pit lane doing their own stuff. You in the session?
Okay, well then, maybe a few people not actually getting their first laps in how they'd want. Banker laps, of course, are quite helpful, you can say, because having that lap under your belt can kind of give you the security that if you do mess up, it's not as bad. But when you mess up a few times and it turns into a one-shot quali, when the session length is like 16 minutes really, then can bring down your confidence a little bit. As it looks like Cameron Young's actually going for another lap, Ollie.
Is he? Let's go on board with him. I'll let you take him.
As of course through turns 1 and 2, turn 2 you need to take a lot of that curb, get right up with the white line to try and maximise how much of the track you're using. Now down towards turn 3 and 4, a little late turn in there, maybe trying to account for maybe that he broke a little later. Of course, some people still kind of getting used to these cars as he comes through the flat right-hander, and we'll see how he's doing in Sector 1. It is apparently purple in Sector 1. Of course, he hasn't set a time yet, so that might just be the game telling lies there. But at the moment now, coming through a tricky right and left. Of course, that curb can be a little dangerous if you take it a little bit too incorrectly. And now, of course, turns 11 and 12 do got to be careful on the exit, and he takes it quite nicely as he is finishing up here. Of course, in Sector 3 at the end of the straight, now this right-hander a little bit, quite actually a lot wide. Again with the turn-in, similar to what he had in turn 3, and he's going to go too wide, and that is going to be lap over for Cameron Young.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. He's invalidated all of his laps so far, and he's had 4 runs. And
he's going out again, though. Which, at this point, the tyres, you'd think, are getting a little worn, but he does want to go again. He's got a little bit of traffic up ahead as he comes through turns 1 and 2. Someone's actually round. He's very lucky to have avoided that, as much as avoided the other car. Really just got off the track, and another one round just ahead of him. Not sure who that was, but he's going to be continuing on this qualifying run once again as he comes through to Sector 1. He's again, according to the game, purple. Of course, he starts getting a little worn, you can say, not at their best operating range, as now once again he's going to be coming through this right-left, not actually opting to touch the curb at all there, maybe thinking that not touching it is quicker. And of course, once again, this left-right, you have to take it very quickly, but you also got to be careful of invalidating and also getting up on that curb and going around at the exit. Luckily for him, he doesn't. He did extend the track, but luckily no invalidation for him on this occasion. Now, through this right-hander, he invalidated here last time. He's going to have to get a little bit more turn. He takes it nicely now through the hairpin and approaching the final corner. Pretty much all the work is done. Now out of the final corner, we're going to be seeing how well he can do. Brandon Glover's on a 26.1 and Cameron Young is going to do a 25.7 to put it on provisional pole position.
I'm just going to go on board with CRG Blizzard. He is on a flyer at the minute, I think. He, of course, the winner from last week's first race and qualified on 8th for the reverse grid. He had a bit of an eventful last weekend, going up and down the grid several times, getting in a few collisions, but he's back for event and he wants to win this race again. The F1 champion as well as the FP champion is highly decorated in IRL awards. Can he do the same by winning this IRL Exhibition Cup? You'd have to say he's a favourite, wouldn't you, Kevin?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's CRG Blizzard, it's the 80, and it's Matthew Walder, and well, 25.1. He's miles quicker than Cameron Young in second place at the moment, and that's probably not even near what he can actually do. I would be expecting a 24 from him by the end of the session.
Yeah, we've got 5 minutes left to see if he can get that 24 out. But just having a look around. You got a few drivers like Tom Drew still haven't set a lap. Oh, and he's crashed! Oh, is he good? Yeah, I don't think there's damage on. So I think he's alright.
Well, if there is damage on, he certainly got lucky anyway, being right up against the barrier. He's going to be able to continue and at least get a final run in, as he still hasn't.
Oh no, there is damage. Michael Mallow just wiped him.
Yeah, not sure if Michael thought he was going to be going on the inside or what happened there, but
maybe Tom was trying to get the pit lane and then
too.
Michael moved to let him in the pit lane and swiped him. Oh.
And they've hit each other again.
This is not what we like to see.
Cam Rules, I'm not sure of his actual name, going very wide at what is, I think, turn 11 or turn 12 up on the gravel. Luckily for him, didn't actually go around, so I'm sure the traction control helping out a little bit there. As I'm pretty sure these cars do have traction control, if I'm not wrong.
But you can still lose the rear end, obviously. They're not invincible to spinning.
And he's actually going to be going for another lap here.
Do you want to take us through it, Jeff?
Yeah, sure. Is of course currently at 29.0, not a good time, you can say, when people are in the 25s through turns 1 and 2. Not the best turn 2 as he kind of clipped the curb, not the best, and loses the rear end a little, has to kind of do a little bit of a correction now through turns 3 and then turn 4. A little bit tricky, of course, in the exit as well with that curb. You gotta keep away from it, and now this pretty much flat right-hander of turn 5 and then turn 6 and turn 7. Very nice flowing corners through here, as he again doesn't clip the curb too nice. Looks like he is struggling a little bit with the rear end of that Renault, and now through turns 9 and turns 10 a little bit late with the turn in, but clips the curb nicely on the exit, and now through a kind of not actually counted as a corner on the track, but it is a slight left, and then of course turns 11 and 12 takes it nicely, getting up in the curb once again. No spin, of course, which is very crucial. Now approaching the right-handers of turn 13 and turn 14 to approach the hairpin, as you got to be careful with invalidating on the exit. He does take it quite slowly to make sure he doesn't invalidate. Of course, he's trying to get a representative time on the board. As through the final corner now, he has taken this a little bit cautiously. The rear end certainly not helping him out, but across the line now, 29.0, and he improves 5 tenths to a 28.5. No improvement with the position, though, staying in 10th.
Who else can we go on board with that? Brandon Glover. He is starting a new lap as well.
Jared is going quickly. According to the track map, at least, he was purple in Sector 2. He is going through turns 13 and 14 now, if you're on board with them, Molly.
Yep.
Of course, now up to the hairpin. He's got Paco Suarez, his previous teammate from F2. Of course, they were also in the Renault, so again in the Renault for now, except this time no one's exactly teammates as he's out of the final corner. Jared Fosbury, apparently purple in Sector 2. What can he do as he improves a little bit at 27.1 up to 8th?
You briefly mentioned that relationship there between Jared Fosbury and Paco Suarez, of course. That petered out towards the end of the season and it became quite toxic. The two started to have arguments and they have fallen out with each other, so don't be surprised if you see a bit of argy-bargy between them two when it comes down to the race.
Yeah, and they're quite close to each other on track as well, if you look. Kind of same part as Jared Fosbury invalidates is in that, but he's not going to be getting any more laps in, as we should be looking at the last few laps. Brandon Glover has invalidated. Matthew Alder's going to be coming across the line to start his lap. Cameron Young is preparing. Sondre Sorog is still a little bit to go before he can start. So Matthew Alder, I think, is more or less first, or one of the first.
Yeah, I'm on board with Matthew.
As, of course, through turn 4 and then approaching the flat turn 5, gets very up on the curbs there. Seems like a little bit of a mistake, maybe, yeah. As now approaching turns 6 and turn 7, quite nice flowing corners, getting up in the curve very nicely there, clipping it pretty much perfectly, as you would expect from Matthew Alder. Now through what is turns 9 and turns 10, clipping the curb, not using any exit curb, which is interesting, as we have seen others use it. Of course, Matthew Alder may be thinking that it's quicker not to. Of course, he is the best here, you can say, so I would be trusting his lines. Is very nice through turns 11 and turns 12, approaching turns 13 and 14, the two right-handers, and then of course you will go up to the hairpin of turn 15.
Oh, is it valid?
He has invalidated, so
that's
not going to be an improvement.
What's Brandon doing?
Brandon Glover on a 25.3, he's coming through the final few corners in Sector 3 now. It's got to be careful not to invalidate here, as he hasn't. Now through the hairpin, pretty much no more invalidation opportunities, you can say, is through the final corner, maybe at the exit, but it looks like he takes it nicely, so if he can improve by a little bit, he should be able to get onto the front
Bran!
row. And yeah, Bran is
as pole position,
pole
but what can Cameron Young do? He's
Cameron
invalidated.
Young is across the line, he's invalidated. Sondre Sorog is also invalidated, so it's looking pretty much like Matthew Alder has his pole position done.
No, Bran's got
a few people fighting. No, sorry, yeah, Brandon Glover, my bad. Looking at the back, Michael Marlowe is going to be coming across the line. 29.4 from him, a little improvement could get him up the grid into 10th with a 28.4, and a lap in for Popeye, but a 30.1 unfortunately. No improvement in position.
Well, what a close qualifying that was. 31 thousandth of a second. Well, we're going to have a good race, aren't we? But I'm sure we will see a bit of a titanic battle between Matthew and Brand for the 1 or 2 laps, and then we'll see Matthew shoot off in the distance, and that'll be it. That'll be curtains, probably. That's what I'm going to predict. What do you think is going to happen in the race?
Well, I would be putting trust in Matthew Waller to get it off the line and probably just dominate from there. I mean, You can say if he did get that lap in, he probably would have done a 24, which would have been the only one in 24s. Of course, he didn't validate, which is part of it, but I think he's quick enough to take the win. Cameron Young as well, he didn't get his final run in. You don't know what he could have done.
Why doesn't Fergie just retire? What's he doing?
I do not know, but he's the last one, so...
He should be allowed to retire, shouldn't he? Considering it's just him left.
Yeah.
He's left. So wait till that time for no reason. Something important I should mention is that Brandon Glover is quite the defensive maestro at Australia. Really does know how to put the handbrake on and slow everyone down behind him. And he said to me in the past that he loves defending at this track and he knows how to defend. And I've experienced that myself. I managed to get past him because I had much fresher tyres, but he's really, really aggressive when it comes to defending at this track. So maybe Matthew will get frustrated behind him at some point and he might struggle to get past him.
You maybe quickly go through the order though?
Yeah, sure. On pole, we got Brandon Glover, 1 minute 25.092, just behind Matthew Alder, the championship contender. Cameron Young in third, with Sondre in fourth. Eliminator fifth, with Blaze in sixth. Paco Suarez, the Spaniard, in seventh, with the three Britons of Grayson, Jared, and into the barrier just behind. We've got the Welshman of Cam Rules just behind him in P11, starting the fresh tyres, with my fellow Jerseyman Tom Jewell starting P11.
And then I saw Popeye in 13th or 14th, I think it was, Ross at least, and then 15th should have been Fergie then, I think.
Yeah, Paco. Ross managed to crash going out of the second last corner and clip the wall. So that was very unfortunate for him, but he wouldn't, of course, have that much experience in these cars. We have done a little bit of classic car racing, but he hasn't done any practice of the race because we've been playing some FIFA just beforehand. But maybe he can have a good race and charge through the grid, and we'll see something for him hopefully later on.
Yeah, also Sondre Sorog as well in fourth. I'd say kind of going a little unnoticed, to be fair, because the three in front of him are people you'd expect. I mean, Bran usually tends to do well, I feel like, in classic cars, and then Matthew and Cameron are Matthew and Cameron. So apart from that, it's kind of a best of the rest from Sondre. So just to kind of shout that out, I think.
Well, that's really weird to see all the Renaults out there. That's extremely weird to see.
And someone spun off the line.
Who was that?
It was
looks
like 9th
Ross
around or 10th.
Hang on, let's shame him. Who is it? It was Paco Suarez. So he'll have really warm tyres after that spin, but he'll be learning about how to take a start now in these cars. And I wonder if it'll be a bit of a carnage start. Might see someone lock up or understeer a bit into turn one, of course. It is very easy to cause a pile-up at this track. We've seen several through the years. In particular, when Ralf Schumacher went over the top of Rubens Barrichello, was it one year? I think it was 2000? Or 2002 perhaps that happened, but there's been a few famous crashes happening through turn one, especially turn 3 as well over the years. You can see, if you go shortly back to 2016, where Fernando Alonso caught the back of Esteban Gutierrez's car and got absolutely sent flying. Yeah. So those two areas will be our main place for overtaking action, so we'll keep an eye on those two areas throughout the race.
Yeah, and also can't forget about turns 13 as well, as of course they'll come through turns 11 and 12 in a moment. The exit of that, if someone gets a bad exit, has to catch their car maybe, and of course DRS as well. Well, actually not for these cars, but it's a bit of slipstream maybe could give you a chance into turn 13, so maybe some through there, but apart from that, it's not really a track that you'd see much overtaking from, so yeah, going to be looking at turns 1 and 3 mostly.
Yeah, you briefly mentioned how difficult it's going to be to overtake, but the difference between these cars and the current cars is that they're a lot slower compared to our modern day cars, as well as a lot smaller, so it makes it a lot easier to overtake. It makes the stronger makes the
someone else is that's
a lot of people retiring from the session.
Oh no, I wasn't. Oh, it was Paco again. through the hairpin. Saw someone go around at least. And, yeah.
Just seen the AWS graphic come up, and they're predicting an easy one stop, and I expect that to be the case as well beforehand coming into the race. So we do have a mandatory pit stop. We do have 29 laps, and I will be ready
to take it away. I'll have a look at the back of the grid, see if anything happens.
Ditches out at the start, doesn't it still? Four, 5 red lights. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing. Matthew Order seems to get the best start compared to Brandon Glover. He's already up the inside of him. Going into turn 1. Will he brake later? Yes, he does. Matthew Order takes a lead, and bye-bye Brandon Glover's lead.
Yeah, at the back it looks fairly clean. Everyone going through. Tom Jewell, I think, had a fairly good initial getaway, but wasn't able to capitalise on it. Paco Suarez is on the inside of Grayson. He's going to pick up a place there as well. In the background, pretty much everyone goes. So there's actually someone losing the back end. That was Erminator there. Again, he's losing the back end up on the grass. He's going to lose a few more positions from that. Luckily, he doesn't lose any bit of his wing. But, yeah, a bit of a mistake. He's round again and out.
Safety car. And Cam Rules. Cam Rules has been taken out by that little collision there. And who else is that? Is that Ross involved? Ross is involved as well. He's got no wing.
It looks like Ross was involved. He has no wing, so him and Cam must have had an incident. I was watching Erminator. Erminator went around all on his own at the exit of turn 6, going through turn 7 up on the curb. Just unbalanced his car and into the wall on the right hand side. So unfortunate for Erminator. Cam Rules maybe was involved in an incident with Ross. Maybe we'll find out about that later, but at the moment, not really sure. Can't really be pointing fingers. Of course, Matthew Older at the moment leading the way. As I said, he most likely would have. And yeah, into the pits.
Matthew's in the pits.
Matthew Older.
Maybe he's getting his mandatory stop out of the way now. I don't know if these tyres can go to the end and do the full 29 laps.
Yeah, these tyres can go a while at least. And I mean, I guess he's thinking go to the end first of all, maybe get some overtaking done as well, maybe have a bit more fun of a race.
Yeah, he might enjoy more of a race that way. Of course, he has got the pace to do it. But let's just talk about some position changes here, of course. So we see, as well as Michael Marlowe coming to the pits as well. I don't know if he had wing damage. I think he might have done. And Ross Dunham with that definite wing damage. He doesn't even have a front wing. So it's going to be more difficult for the Renault mechanics to take that front wing off. Nice and easy pit stop. But let's have a look at position changes. So we've seen Brandon Glover obviously retain his lead thanks to Matthew pitting, but he did lose at the start. Sondre Sorhauger's gained 2 positions. He's in 3rd. He somehow got ahead of Cameron Young, who's retained his 3rd position. Ablaze has gained 2 positions, as well as Paco Suarez, Iron Neon, and and Grayson. They've all gained 2 positions. We got Tom Jewell gaining 4 positions at the back, and Fergie gaining 6. So they've had really good starts. Popeye gaining 3 positions. However, big losers being Matthew Older, who's taken that additional pit stop and into the barrier, and Ross Denham, who's also had to stop. He's ended up gaining a position because he's sat at the back.
Yeah, which kind of means if you look at people who've gone up positions, you kind of -2 to see how much they've actually gone up. So Tom Jewell a legitimate 2 places, and Fergie a legitimate 4. So to be fair, both of them having pretty good starts. I did see Tom Jewell, I think he did get someone off the line, and then he was side by side. It was actually 3 wide momentarily into the first corner. Tom Jewell did have to back out, unfortunately, so he wasn't going to gain any more. But looking like a good start from Tom, of course, into 8th, right behind Jared Fosbury. Of course, him and Jared had their fair share of wins in F2. Of course, Jared did end up getting the better of them, but they were quite close by the end of the season, so maybe a bit of a battle could happen between the 2.
Just holding further down the field.
Paco Suarez also in now, by the way.
Yeah, I was just going to wonder that if anyone else is pulling the pit.
And Jared and Fergie.
Oh, Paco's fed in the pit lane. Matthew's gained already back up to 8 with those fresh tyres. So that surely must be a strategical choice there for Matthew.
Yeah, and given the safety car was out on lap 1, then it should be in this lap, especially given everyone's going to be caught up by the end. So if you haven't made a stop yet, then it's going to be deeper into this race unless you're realistically getting wing damage. So yeah.
Yeah, also important to mention that Matthew's underfueled his car. Like, I didn't expect that to happen, so I'm guessing he'll be running in lean most of the race to try and claw that fuel back, which he's always on the cusp. He's got 0 laps. So he's not running any additional fuel and he's underfueling it, so his car will be a lot lighter compared to everyone else's car around him. And so that will allow him to just be more agile and have a little bit of an advantage. However, he won't be able to run rich.
I'm not sure if they're under a delta or not, but I don't think Jared's too happy with the speed of Paco right now.
Maybe just trying
Jared
to
seems to want to go a little bit quicker.
Do you know what I said in qualifying, Kevin? That these two have had a bit of history.
Yeah.
We've got them on track, fighting each other for P10 and P11, so that's going to be a battle to keep our eyes on. A lot of history and a big
keep
rivalry.
an eye out, as they're still a little bit away. They should be catching up by turn 13 at least, but
Popeye got collision with Tom Jewell. Oh, Tom's just swiped Popeye.
Oh.
Why has he done that then? That was a bit rude. I caught that.
Safety car is in
I
this
did
lap,
catch that.
it's a late call, but now Brandon Glover will be slowing down the field, and it's up to him when they go.
And he's going now. Chose not to pull it back, and he's gone out the exit of the corner. Pulled away nice and easily. Do we have any potential overtakes further down the grid, Kevin? Yes, we do.
Actually, Matthew Alder on the inside of Tom Jewell through turn 1. He's going to brake late, and he's going to pretty easily, actually, in the end, make that move and up into P6. So after that pit stop, he can already see the top 5 once again, and well, looking like maybe a strategic masterclass. Of course, we'll see by the end how much of a difference those older tyres will make. But yeah, Brandon Glover, of course, leading. He has actually pulled a second gap to Sondre Sorg behind him, and Cameron Young looks very hungry to take this P2 away from the Norwegian at the moment.
Yeah, Sondre Sorg will be under a lot of pressure from the Welshman, and he will be feeling it. Cameron will be in his head. He's gone for a lunge.
Down the inside.
He's gone off. There's contact. Cameron's
also
pushed
off.
him off.
Antonio Moretti's going to be able to find maybe a bit of space on the outside. He's going to have to give up to Cameron Young. Sondre Sorg now down to 5th, losing a position to Grayson, maybe also Matthew Alder. He has lost it to Matthew Alder as well. So really not what Sondre Sorg needed, and Cameron Young making a bit too optimistic of a move.
Oh, and he's locked off. He's gone off again.
Cameron Young locking up and off again, yeah.
I think that might be worthy of a penalty there for Cameron Young. It was very dirty, the move. Left absolutely no space for Sondre and just completely forced him wide. However, he has made up the mistake and he's now behind Sondre. So he's ended up losing Sondre and himself a load of positions there. And that's
and also time as well. 2.3 seconds. Brandon Glover has got an extra buffer since that move. That was only a 1 second gap. Matthew Alder down the inside of Grayson up to 3rd place.
Yeah, Matthew Alder. Let's have a look at the gap to leader. Matthew Alder is 4.8 seconds behind Brandon Glover, and he will be going at him thick and fast. And Brandon will see him coming towards him. He will see the delta, of course, from leading, because he'll be able to see the top 5 drivers just behind him, and he will be roaring, and he will have to get a move on. No mistakes for Brandon Glover, no penalties, and that will be his way of winning, if he still has a chance to.
Yeah, certainly is. Now Cameron Young is, well, looking for a move on Sondre Sorg. He goes a little bit earlier through the kind of right-hand kink.
Oh, Grayson's gone off.
Looking to be on
Grayson's
the inside. Yeah, Grayson has gone off, as Cameron Young and Sondre Sorg will both be going through. But a bit of an interesting thing here is Cameron, of course, behind Sondre once again, looking for a move. Once again, I don't think Sondre will be... well, I think he'll be defending a little more aggressively this time, maybe.
I've just seen Paco
maybe
come and
Cameron
Grayson
will be more...
have a little collision there. Yeah, sorry, Grayson lost it, and Tom went down the inside, and Paco tried to go down the inside with Grayson, ended up hitting the back of Tom, and they went side by side through turn 11 and 12, and they ended up thinking better of it, and Paco Suarez ended up losing out. and he's under
It
pressure.
seems like Ross maybe was involved in that as well, as he was around at that exact corner on this lap.
Oh, what's happened?
So he's lost 10 seconds to the rest of the grid, and also pitting to wing damage.
That's a bit of a shame. Let's have a look at the gap to leader, because I think they are gaining on Brandon Glover. Yes, Matthew's 4 seconds behind. He was 4.8. He's already caught a second on the Englishman. So a lot of ground is being gained from Matthew and the Blaze, really, you'd have to say at this point, but Matthew has been held up quite a lot. So as long as the Blaze stay ahead, it gives Brandon the advantage to pull away. But you'd have to say Matthew is on a bit of a mission at the minute, and he is in a bit of a hurry because he does not want to let Brandon Glover get away.
He certainly does not, as he's on the back of actually a 3-second time penalty for Matthew Walder as he goes through turn 12. Still on the back of Antonio Moretti right now. Doesn't look like he's going to be making a move yet as they go through now turn 14, approaching the hairpin. Will he go down the inside? He had a little bit of a look, but he's not going to be making it this early, as actually a little laggy, I think, from Antonio Moretti's car.
We've seen a few drivers pick up penalties so far. We've got, let me just go switch to the penalty window. And you see both Matthew and Sonia got 3 seconds. Tom Jules got 10 seconds, I imagine, which was for the collision where he swiped Popeye out of the way. Paco Suarez has got 3 seconds as well as a 5 seconds for speeding. And Popeye's got 5-second collision with Tom, and Ross has got a 3-second time penalty, I imagine, for cutting corner.
Okay, I was just looking. Popeye's name is Chris Ryan.
Someone's gone. Whoa, who's that? Tom's just cut across and tried. I don't know what happened there. Oh, someone's gone side by side. Oh. Fergie and Michael Marlowe going side by side through that really fast right-hander. Very close battling going on here. What's happened to Paco Suarez and Jared though? What's happened to that fight? Oh, Matthew's going for a move as well. Let's go to that. It's probably more important. Still have a switch back here. He's got the move done on Grayson. Oh, sorry, not Grayson. Nice and easily done. Will he hold it in? No, he's giving it up. And now Matthew has a 4-second gap to close down. Let's head a little bit further back and see what is going on with Cameron Young. And Paco Suarez going side by side into turn 13. Whoa.
And it looks like Paco didn't leave too much room there, as Cameron, of course, got forced wide and has to stick behind once again as he looks down the inside a little bit, trying to actually scare Paco a little bit. It looks like it's worked, as Paco did leave space on the inside, but Cameron didn't use it, as once again Paco placing his car nicely as he's going to be looking down the inside. Cameron Young side by side through turn 1. Of course, Jared Fosbury might be looking for an opportunity if something happens between these two. Still side by side, Paco Suarez right up on the curb, and Cameron Young on the outside I think is going to be able to make the move now. Jared Fosbury is going to be trying to get involved in this, gets it front wing slightly alongside. That is going to almost be 3 wide as Paco Suarez dives it down the inside of Cameron Young. Cameron surely should have to move now. He does have to move. As, yep, Fergie has gone around in the background. I'm not sure if that was contact with anyone.
Yeah, it was Jared.
Right at the back of him still, Paco Suarez might dive it. He hasn't dived it. He's actually clipped the grass a little bit and might allow Jared Fosbury to get on the back of him now, as he is.
Yeah, Fergie just had a little bit of contact with Jared as he was heading into the corner, which was unfortunate. But you have to say, Cameron got a bit of his own medicine, got a taste of his own medicine back before he did to Sanjay Suhal a couple of laps ago. As you see, Jared
Fosbury might be making a move, Ollie.
Yep, and see, he's going to go around the outside. He's going to go down the inside. He's going to go down the inside. Paco holds around the outside. Nice and clean. Oh, what a switch back there from Jared. He's holding it in, going side by side down towards turn 13. Who will brake later? Will Paco end up shoving Jared off like he did last time? Paco holds around the outside. This is great battling from these two rivals.
Oh. Still trying to keep it there. Front wing moment. And actually
Paco's
it's going to be a save and he's round. He's actually hit Jared. Luckily for Jared, I don't think he's got damage from that. But Paco, did he get damaged? No, actually
I don't know. He lost it going out of the corner before.
Michael Marlowe, I think, was actually a bit of a victim to that, as he's got damage. He wasn't really involved in any of it. And now down the inside, Tom Jewell will be able to go up into P7 quite nice for him is he's kind of been gifted a few positions, and Michael Marley, you can see, is losing out quite a bit from that wing damage, as I think that was Paco Suarez who gave him that from his spin. Not really Paco's fault at all, just an unfortunate position to be in for Michael. Is now actually Paco and Fergie trying to get involved. Michael Marlowe.
What's Paco doing?
Like he's round. Paco is round. He's lost a bit of swing as well.
He's caused a lot of carnage there. Paco has caused quite a few collisions. You see Grayson getting past Cameron Young. I don't know if he's made a mistake there or not, but Paco caused a lot of collisions there. And Lordy pointed out beautifully in the comments, you have to say, and so just looking up to the top of the grid, Matthew Alder's already caught up to Brandon Glover. But I'm going to switch back briefly as we see Cameron Young and Grayson F1 going at it, where we see him send it up the inside. No, he thinks better of it and waits a little bit longer. Fergie picks up a 3-second time penalty, Kevin. Yeah,
actually, looking at it, a few people picking up penalties, to be fair, which could actually, this could play into Brandon Glover's hands, as of course he'll have to make up this time later on in the race. Of course, it is a long race, and I mean, with the laps Brandon Glover will have with the fresher tyres, he will most likely be catching Matthew Alder, and with that 3-second penalty, he only needs to be within 3 seconds to take the win. So
Cameron Young just picked up 3-second time penalty, as you see Jared Fosbury trying to manufacture a move here on Tom Jewell, but he's vulnerable now to Fergie, who's also made a mistake, but Tom's weaving all over the place. I don't know what he's doing, he's got a 3-second time penalty himself. So there's a bit of carnage going on here and there, and I think the fight for the lead is just about to be turned on. Stove has been lighted to the fire, and Matthew Alder is catching up to Brandon Glover.
okay, so I was just looking at some names. Grayson is Stephen Grayson. Popeye is Chris Ryan. I couldn't find Fergie's name, and Antonio Moretti is a place. So.
Matthew Alder is 3 tenths behind Bran. Like I mentioned before in qualifying, Brandon Glover really does know how to defend at this tracks, and we'll hopefully see that masterclass come into play. And I think this is going to be very aggressive between the two. Matthew Alder might have to get his elbows out a bit and use them to get past Brandon Glover, because he can be very aggressive defensively. And I think we're about to see a display of that. I don't know if you're watching on board or not.
Yeah, I am. As you can kind of see, Matthew Alder, of course, has the pretty clear superior grip to Brandon Glover. Brandon is going to be having to defend pretty much for his life, because if he can hold this until this pit stop, he probably isn't. He's going to have to defend to the inside. Now Matthew Alder on the outside, side by side between the two. Brandon Glover, I think, is actually going to stay ahead though, and as he is, Matthew Alder has to stick behind once again in second place, and he's going to have to look for a move maybe into turn 1 or turn 3 as Paco Suarez again phasing through Matthew Alder. Matthew, I wouldn't think is too happy with that, as Brandon into the pits.
Oh, very interesting actually that. I forgot that Brandon had to pit. So he's running away from the fight that we were hyping up and really looking forward to seeing. I wonder how much longer those tyres were to last for Matthew Alder. But I want to see where Brandon Glover comes out relative to everyone else. Let's hopefully just come out within a fight, because we want to see that fight between Brandon and Matthew, not a fight between him and the likes of Jared or someone. Where's he coming out?
He might be coming out with Grayson though, as Grayson is approaching turn 1. You can see Brandon Glover there, and he is going to be just about ahead, but Grayson with a better exit may be able to challenge him into turn 3. I think he's a little bit too far back there. Brandon, luckily, in quite a lot of clean air, as he has 8 seconds to Sandro Sorag ahead.
Fergie and Tom Jewell going at it. Once again, Tom Jewell going a little bit deep. Fergie's going around the outside, clips over the grass, and Tom Jewell shoves him wide. Very aggressive from Tom and Paco today, so be aware of them. And Tom's lost it!
Oh, and he's right up on the grass, and Randy is losing quite a chunk of this front wing. Both end plates on either side gone, pretty much. And yeah, he's going to have to be pitting on this lap, you would think.
Almost definitely, but that was, you can't drive with that much wing damage. It's extremely difficult and extremely understeery when you've lost all that front end, really. And especially in these cars, it's even more effective because you're going even slower. So,
as someone,
it's like
okay, no, I thought someone went around at turn 9 or 10. It looked like someone was stationary. There was a yellow flag, but looks fine.
I think it seems to be in order, and I don't see there's many spins in a minute. There aren't a lot of battles either. The closest battle we have is between Fergie and IRL Neon. And oh, actually no.
I think someone else is going to be joining this fight though. As Sondre Sorog is just at the pit exit. Is not Grayson, Fergie and Jared is going to go through. Cameron Young is through the final corner. He's not going to be able to jump Sondre, as now I would think maybe a bit of a fight if Cameron Young can catch up and use the pace that he knows he has.
Yeah, Sondre Sorog's had a really good race. However, it's been really, really quiet. He hasn't been fighting many people. He's kind of just been doing his own thing. Yes, he had that little collision with Cameron Young, but he's kind of been driving really well today, you have to say.
Yeah, he has. I mean, like, there's not really been any mistakes. I mean, in terms of strategy, maybe he could have pit lap 1, but in hindsight, maybe he could have got an incident, and maybe that's why he stayed out. Of course, most people did stay out under that safety car. So yeah, I mean, in terms of like managing the race, you can't really fault him at all. He's done a good job, and of course, right now in what is a net P3, he's running over quite a ways ahead. So don't think he's going to be looking at anything more than that. But yeah, he's driving a good race.
Who's that has gone round? Is it Ross? Yeah, Ross has gone round. He's got no wing again. He's really not enjoying this car, is he? And he's just using the wall-to-wall ride, and I don't know what he's doing. I think he's given up at this stage.
He's gonna try and crash, I think.
Oh, the virtual safety car is calls.
And actually, that's gonna allow quite a lot of people to pit now. Jared Fosbury and Grayson and Fergie all into the pits, as Sondre Sorog is going to take a P4. Antonio Moretti, of course, still yet to pit. So when he does, he will actually... Well, that's actually interesting. Where will Antonio Moretti come out once he does this pit stop? I'm going to try and see.
Do you know what this VSC is really unfortunate for?
Well,
Brandon Glover. If he stayed out a couple more laps, he could have gained a big advantage from the VSC.
Well, yeah, that is true. But it also has affected, though. Antonio Moretti had to stay out as well in second, because he was a little bit too far ahead to...
He's really stopped, hasn't he?
To use it. No, he hasn't. He hasn't stopped at all. Yep. And into the pits this lap.
Oh, no, he hasn't. That's really unfortunate for him, then.
Will be interesting to see now where he is going to emerge. It should be ahead of Sondre, you would think, actually. So, maybe Sondre isn't in that P3 like I previously thought.
Well, we'll go to a blaze in a second, just watching this fight between Paco and Tom. These two have been causing issues this race, so it wouldn't surprise me if we see some more of a wheel banging, a bit of carnage, maybe a bit of wing damage, and maybe even some tears from one of them. I wouldn't put it past me to see one of them cry, perhaps, if they have a crash and have a bit of an argument in the party. And it seems to be breaking up a bit for now. 6 temps is a big enough gap. Where's the Blaze come out? He's come out in
P3
he's
still. Come out in third. He's in a bit of a lonely P3. He's just going to be running there, I think, for the rest of the race, as long as there isn't a safety car or anything to shake anything up significantly. So he's pretty comfortable there. Sondre and Cameron, it looks like Cameron has been reading in Sondre in the last few laps, I think. He is visually a lot closer, and of course he has got the gap down by about a second or two, I think, so expect a fight between them two soon. As actually, well, maybe not, because Cameron Young has gone straight on his own. He's locked up at turn 9.
He's really not been happy with his brakes, and that's going to come into the hands of Fergie and Grayson. It's just going to create a bit of a ding-dong battle here, you'd have to say.
Yes, Cameron Young will have to now re-overtake 2 cars to get a P5 even, and I mean, Saunders Sword now looks a little bit too far ahead.
And as well, he's got 9 seconds off of penalties, so that's not going to help either. There's quite a lot of people with penalties. The only driver not to have a penalty is Brandon Glover, so he's having a really good and clean race. However, I think that strategy mistake by not pitting under the safety car has really hindered him.
Yeah, it seems that it has hindered him quite a lot. Of course, 24 seconds to Matthew Alder, and I haven't really been monitoring the gap, but it doesn't look like he's really reeling him in all that much.
Yeah, I just seen Cameron Young get a good view of that little battle there between Fergie and Grayson as he goes down the inside, locks his front right a little bit, and takes back P6. He has got 12 seconds of penalties, so does Fergie, so Grayson is in a good position here to make up some more positions on penalties. So he doesn't need to fight them, he just needs to let them go and save in a suitable window for the next 13 laps. And then he should be in a good race, a good final result, you'd have to say. Brandon Glover's got a penalty! Oh, Brandon.
That he has, and I mean, I guess he would be realistically hoping for a safety car, if anything, for him to benefit from that, but even if there is now, I mean, they're equal as far as I can tell on penalties. Or no, well, actually no, if there was another safety car, and Brian can say within 3 seconds he can still win the race, so
just look at this fight, look at this, P9 to P12. Oh, Packer's gone!
Actually, Packer's
There's the
is gone,
safety car, surely.
He has not crashed out, luckily. He has a lot less wing, but, well, yeah, virtual safety car.
I have to say, I did see that coming. Popeye was holding them up a lot, and they had a lot of anger, and they wanted to get a move done there pretty badly. And Packer just ended up unsteering wide on the grass and lost it, and collected Tom as well with him. So,
wait, what's this then? Brandon Glover's now 30 seconds behind Matthew. 31. Okay, maybe he's going slow. I'm not sure.
No idea. Why is he this far behind?
Yeah, because it's suddenly like 6 seconds. It's quite significant.
I don't know. Maybe he spun?
Maybe.
I didn't see anything, but the VFC's go. Who else can we see? Popeye's in the pits, so is Tom and Paco. So that fight will continue on, so maybe that will cause a safety car in a few laps' time. So the fight we've got here is Fergie and Cameron Young. It's the main fight we have going on track at the minute. Everyone is really far apart, and we may see Matthew pit just for insurance policy, and maybe go for a fastest lap as well and get a few extra points.
Yeah, he could, but I think if there was a safety car, then he could pit and come out ahead anyway, because everyone behind him would most likely pit then. So, I think he's fine, really. I mean, if the tires look fine to him, then I don't see much of a reason for him to pit. As out of the pits, the guys in around 9th, 10th, so they'll be close to it.
Yeah, they'll be nicely out of the way, and they'll be having their own little fight. Just to go on board with it at this rate. I think this is all we can do, is just watch this little fight here. We've got 12 drivers left. It's up with 15, we had 3 DNFs, no safety. Oh, actually, we had a safety car early on in the race, and it was a shame that we lost Cameron and everybody so early on. But we're down to 12 now, and these 12 are putting on a performance.
Into the pits for Michael Marlowe then. What was that on?
Would you have any idea where the standings are?
Yes, hang on. Where is it? It should be... Yeah. I'll just send it to you directly.
Okay, I don't have access to them, that's fine.
It's taken from the game, but the points are
Okay.
the same as what they are.
So no Leroy today, of course, so he will be losing out a lot today, but Brandon Glover going on for second should gain some points. Or he would be overtaking Lee Kelly, won't he, for the championship position, so long as he keeps the four wheels on the wagon and doesn't crash, he should be in good condition. But Matthew Order will be extending the championship lead. Matthew's on 41 points, Brandon Glover's on 22, so that's going to be making the gap open to about 48 points. So quite a lead. 48 points compared. 48 points compared to Brandon's 37.
Yeah, and with Sondre as well, he'll move up
48.
one spot up to 4, so he won't be able to get Lee at the moment. Of course, only scoring 12 points. So
I don't know what I'm saying. 48.
not really a massive shake-up. Of course, the main thing, just Bran will be getting ahead of Lee. Matthew Walder will be extending his championship lead over what will be then Brandon Glover moving up into second place. So kind of looking like another championship, or well, not really championship, but an exhibition series that Matthew Walder is going to collect.
Matthew will be 26
this,
points.
Game.
Yeah, Matthew will be 26 points clear, Kevin. So
And then 2 races left next week. Will be Brazil, as far as I remember. I will check that in a second just to see what it will be.
into the background on the inside of Paco Suarez, a little bit of contact there. They both survived to fight another day. Tom Jules were in this fight as well. There's 4 cars within this little area as well. Grayson is the lap car in the way, or he's ahead. So technically these guys are in the way, but he won't want to be seeing this as they're all on the same part of the track.
Side by side with Michael and Paco at the moment for what is a legitimate 9th place for these two. Paco Suarez is keeping a wing in there, a virtual safety car,
Paco's
though,
out!
and they've actually hit each other. Paco Suarez on the inside wasn't
Tom
that
and
much
Popeye
alongside,
crashed.
to be fair though, and yeah, he clipped the rear tyre of Michael Marlowe, putting him round, and well, both of them now losing time, not any places luckily for them, but yeah.
So yeah, lucky there's not another safety car, but these guys have been causing so much wing damage.
Matthew Alder in the pits now.
Is he? Oh yeah, I didn't say he
he's
is. But...
taking the VSC opportunity.
So that will be him going for a fastest lap attempt, surely. But something I have noticed is that these guys have gone through so many wings. I don't know, how many stops have they had? So, yeah, they've had... Ross has had 4 stops, and Tom Jules had 2 stops, and there's soon to be 3. Paco Suarez have had 3 stops as well. So a lot of wing damage and a lot of expenses are being paid for all these damages. I wouldn't want to be Cyril beatable.
Yeah, I did just have a look there. Next week is at Brazil, as I thought it was. Realistic cars with the standard short quality and 50% race, and then the week after equal at Bahrain for 100% race and full quality. So that's what is coming up for the next 2 weeks. So now Fergie actually, well, maybe Sondre made a mistake, I'm not sure. But at the moment, Sondre running fourth, Fergie just behind him, and then Cameron Young all very close to each other on track. Paco Suarez, I think you were saying, or noticing that he's on the inside of Michael Marlowe. Not going to be able to make a move though. As Tom, or actually no, it's Popeye, that's Chris Ryan pitting.
Oh, Fergie's got past Sondre.
He has actually, and Cameron Young, you would expect, is going to be next. So Sondre obviously dropping down to fifth. Fergie is going to be able to push on. He's realistically not going to be getting a top three. The top three places seem fairly secure. So it's really the fight for fourth between these three. As you can see, Cameron Young getting closer and closer to the back of Sondre Sorog. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to make a move yet. Going to have to wait till probably turn 13 on this lap.
Finally get some battles going in. There's been a bit of a dull period the last couple of laps, but Paco Suarez into the barrel going side by side into turn one. Ooh, nice and easy done there from Paco. Very clean as well from Michael Marlowe leaving the room. A lot of respect here as he's going to come back at him. He's going to choose the inside, he's going to choose the outside. He goes down the inside. And Paco Suarez is going to lose out the position again, but he's going to keep it in. Michael Marlowe didn't shut the door. Surely not side by side with here again. Ooh, just about
pass
done.
hasn't gone too well as he gets up a little bit on the curb. As he saves the back end, I should say, a little bit. Still side by side between these two. They've been side by side since turn 3. As they're approaching now turns 9 and turns 10, who's going to be the later of the two braking? And it's going to be Michael Marlowe ahead of Paco Suarez. Paco still trying to make this move.
Right. Oh, bit of a wheel bang there. It's quite hard. Paco Suarez round the outside, closes the door on Michael Marlowe. Michael Marlowe's got the switchback though, and he's able to brake earlier. He's going to be coming back at the Spaniards. He chooses the inside line. The inside line is the preferred line for overtaking it, as you can. Oh, Paco's broken very early as well there. It's a very good and very clean battling here. Oh, and Paco Suarez just comes back at him. Is Michael Marlowe going to hold it around the outside? Yes, he is. He goes down the inside. Paco Suarez yields and goes for a switchback, and he's going to come back at him into turn 1.
I think Jared Fosbury might be able to make a move on Grayson now for 7th. He's on the back of him. I think this is actually a little bit too far back, but he is certainly getting closer.
Oh, Michael Marlowe's on the grass. I think that was just a bit of an error there from Paco Suarez. I don't think he meant to do that, but Michael Marlowe's gone for a Daniel Ricciardo-esque lunge. They're still going side by side. They've been side by side for about 2 laps. Keeping it nice and clean. Paco Suarez has a little lift into here, making sure there's no contact between them. And that is the move done. I think they're just fighting just for the fun of it at this rate. At least we're getting some action. Jared and Grayson still going well. So is Cameron Young and Sondre Sorog. Who should we be watching?
Yeah, Jared Fosbury is on the back of Grayson again. He's got a nicer exit going out of turn 12, but he's not close enough once again. He gets ever closer to the back of Grayson. Now going through the final few corners, approaching the penultimate corner at the hairpin. Might be able to have a look going into turn 1. As actually a much better exit. Might be able to do it before turn 1, side by side between the two. Jared Fosbury on the inside, Grayson on the outside, going through turn 1 now. Is going to be later of the two, and Jared Fosbury is going to brake quite late, get the move done as Grayson gets a better exit, but he's not able to capitalise. Jared Fosbury places his car quite well and up into P7.
Nicely done there from Bottle. Actually, that's Sondre.
Cameron Young, by the way, has been running 6th. He's been looking at the back of Sondre Sorog. If anything, Sondre Sorog has been pulling away slowly but surely from Cameron Young, which is something you wouldn't necessarily expect. But yeah, a good pace, a good showing of pace from Sondre Sorog right now. Cameron Young not able to respond.
I'm just going back to our little ding-dong battle down here for the fight for P9. They've been putting on a really good performance, these two. It's really good to see these guys have a clean battle instead of having a bit of... Oh, no, I just jinxed it.
Of course.
I just
right
jinxed
as
it.
you say it, Michael Marlowe turns a little bit left,
I just
a little bit
jinxed
too
it.
early. Kind of looks like a swipe. I doubt that was intentional. Just kind of probably him drifting out wide, Paco trying to keep Michael Marlowe on the right hand side, I would say, and with them getting closer a little bit too quick for each of them to realise. And well, Paco Suarez now out. Michael Marlowe is going to be in a lonely P9 now.
Yeah, it's a shame I jinxed that. I was just about to say how they're having a clean battle. And then Paco Suarez crashed. Oh dear, I should probably stop talking.
Yeah, unfortunate for Paco, they're really on the outside. No, I don't really think...
Whoa!
I won't put blame
whoa,
on...
whoa. A Blaze has just... Popeye's just checked Tom Jewell. That is not good.
Was that in the pit lane?
No, going into turn 9 and 10.
Oh no, yeah, I was looking at Michael Marlowe. Apologies. So, yeah, that's
Popeye went really
Tom
early.
Jewell's stricken car. It's been removed now. So, did you get a look at that?
Yeah, I did. It's on. If you go on the stream, you can
Tom
see
Jewell
it.
just hit Popeye and his
No,
wheels came
Popeye
clean
broke
off?
early by
Or?
the looks of it, and just Tom went flying to the back of him and lost his wheel. Go back and on the stream and have a look if you want. The stewards are going to have a field day today.
Yes, we've actually lost 1/3 of the grid now. Looking at battles, looks like Sandro Zorg's just continuing to increase his gap in 5th. Fergie, by the way, is pulled away by 6 seconds, so he's showing quite good pace in these 06 Renaults. Jared Fosbury and Grayson still going at it. Is actually recently, I guess Grayson has got that move on that place back on Jared Fosbury for P7. Jared Fosbury back down to P8.
And of course, Jared's got 6 seconds of penalties compared to Grayson's 9. So as long as Jared keeps it clean, he should, I repeat, he should get back that P7. But however, he might get P6. Cameron Young's got 21 seconds worth of penalties. So we've got a lot more than I expected there from Cameron Young.
Okay, I have seen that crash. It was kind of odd. The way his wheel came off. From the perspective you had, his wheel came off before there was actually contact, which is interesting, but yeah, I don't really know how that happened. Obviously, Tom Jewell's footage probably looked a lot different. Quite unfortunate for him.
Yeah, I just, it looks like a bit of a brake check there from Popeye. I don't know what you think. But definitely there was contact that caused the wheel to pop off. We've gone board with Matthew Order for the last lap or two, because he's setting purple laps, trying to get the fastest lap, which he's just done. He's on a 1 minute 25.3. That's only 2 tenths off the quali pole.
I do have to say though, Jared Fosbury and Grayson are actually going side by side here. As Jared Fosbury just made a move on Grayson, but Grayson's still trying to have it around the outside now. He's going to have the inside for the next corner, turn 10. Still side by side between the two. Of course, this is right at the end of the Grand Prix. They are on lap 28. Matthew Walder is on lap 29. Jared Fosbury trying to look around the outside, can't do it. Grayson is going to retake this P7, but still fighting very much so. Jared Fosbury picks up another time penalty there. Is on the back of Grayson. He's going to be looking around the outside, maybe a switch back from Jared as he's on the outside, right on the outside, but not able to find the grip, and Grayson is going to very easily take it back. in turn 13. Now going through the hairpin. Jared Fosbury might be able to retake
Oh.
it again. It's on the inside. A very sudden mistake from Grayson. Jared Fosbury luckily avoided it. Now Grayson in the slipstream of Jared Fosbury. He's looking down the inside now onto the last lap for these two. Matthew Walder is going to be finishing up in a few moments, I would expect. Jared Fosbury now loses his place again to Grayson, as Matthew Walder is going to cross the line. So Matthew Walder is your winner here, and 14 seconds behind Brandon Glover, but still Jared Fosbury and Grayson going side by side. Jared on the outside, and he's going to have the inside for the next corner. Doesn't need it, and he's back up into P7.
Yeah, of course, these guys are fighting for their lives. It's the final lap of the race. They want that extra point. P7, I don't know how much the point difference is, but Jared really wants it, and he's been putting up a fight. Grayson will want to take that back. They've got half a lap left. Grayson's got one real overtaking opportunity left, and that's going down the inside into turn 13. So he hasn't really been getting the exits to be able to go and get that move done. He's chilling behind, and let's hope that Jared doesn't make any mistakes. So then Grayson won't be able to pass him. But let's see what happens here. Jared's got a fine exit. They've got the same amount of penalties, I think. Oh, God,
Yeah, it's not going to be enough from Grayson unless Jared was to make a big mistake out of the hairpin. Maybe that would allow them to go side by side, but at the moment I think Jared Fosbury should have this. As you can see visually, the gap is a little bit too much, as these are the last two to cross the line. The last two on the lead lap, Michael Marlowe and Chris Ryan both getting lapped twice, but across the line Jared Fosbury is going to take this P7. It actually slowed down at the end, maybe trying to tease Grayson a little bit, but yeah, he still takes the... actually, no. Was it P7 they were fighting for?
Yeah, P7.
Yeah, it was. Then he still takes P7. So that penalty from Jared Fosbury didn't actually make a difference in the end.
So, for our final little race rundown, we've got Matthew Alder taking the win after qualifying second, just behind Brandon Glover wins by 12 seconds. Brandon Glover disappointingly finishes second after he would want to convert the pole position to win. With Elara Ablaze finishing in third, he'll be happy with that result, with Fergie in fourth and Sonia Sulhaug finishing an amazing fifth after a consistent race, you'd have to say, but that little collision with Cameron Young cost him dearly. Iron Leon in seventh, Grayson F1 in eighth with Into the Barrier, and Pop High rounding out the top 10, and the finishers, the DNFs, were Tom Jewell, Paco Suarez, Ross Danome, Eliminator, and Cam Rules.
Yeah, quite a lot of DNFs. Of course, it was a bit of an incident-ridden race. Everyone in the end actually getting penalties. Brandon Glover did pick up one penalty in the end. Actually, how much did... Okay, 6 seconds. So without the 3 second of Brandon Glover, he got 8 seconds behind. So he wasn't... well, actually, he was, to be fair, because the 6 seconds. So he was maybe 15 seconds behind or something like that. So not really much Brandon could have done differently. I don't think Matthew Alder was a bit too quick.
Yeah, it's fine. It was one of those races, but Matthew Alder extends the championship lead. He's now on 66 points, as well as the fastest lap puts him onto 67 points. And Brandon Glover come home second. And disappointing result, you'd have to say, for him. But he'll be happy at the podium, but it's a shame that he didn't have a better race weekend last week. But yeah, so thank you everyone for joining. We'll be here next week, Saturday at 4:30, same time, and we'll be racing in Brazil for our realistic race. So thank you, Kevin, for joining me, and We'll see you guys next week.